Welcome back. My name is Jesse, aka DJ Dark X. Today I'm coming back to you with another tutorial. I know another one so quickly. And I'm going to tell you now, if you watched my last tutorial on jumping down through slopes, um well, using move layers, or basically moving through layers, it actually works not as well as the current method, which is the animation edition. Best to use that. I'll show you what I mean near the end of this video. But this one today is for going from scene to scene without using portals and just using objects. This can be used for a number of different things, like basically making it look like an old NES game where it fades to black, or not even fades black, just goes to black immediately, waits about a second between each scene, and then starts up. And you can also basically make it so that this way you have to press up to go into doorways rather than just touching it, so that this way it doesn't look so artificial. So let's go ahead and get started with that. First, you're going to want to, you have your scenes set up. I have mine. Oh, you're also going to want to use starting points. It's a good thing to get started on starting points because this will help you whenever you're doing scene changes. Believe me, it's going to be huge. Starting point A is always the one that is used unless you specify that you're going to be using B when you scene change. This is pretty self-explanatory, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay. Wait, where is this? I guess it's this one. Yeah, that's the, but yeah, update. Well, either way, it's called Move to Forest 1-1, but it's actually touch end scene. And then there's also door end scene, and I'll explain those here in a little bit. But okay, let's go out to 100. So we have the character right here starting off normally. We also have starting point B and starting point A. If you wanted to learn how to start up set point or set up points or startup points or whatever you want, go to Player Character Management under Settings. Under 1P or First Player Character, you click here. You add the object that you want. Select its destination, which is first player, and there you go. The only reason the other ones are not set up is because in project settings, it's only set up for one player, not four, or not up to four. So you have this set up. Now it'll start at A when you start the game. There, B is not going to be there, so there's not going to be a secondary character. Okay. So I'm going to show you how this works really quick. And then, there you go. Very simple. So, okay. How do I do that? Now that you know how to set up these points, which when you go into objects, you can actually click starting point, put it wherever you want. And then here you put group A all the way out, all the way down to Z. So you're gonna have up to like 26 starting points, but we're not gonna need that many, unless you have 26 entrances in one place. But I really doubt that's gonna be an issue. So I put them both on main because that's where our tiles are, at least the ones that we want to work with. Tiles are at least for me in the background, which I didn't do that, but either way. So let's go ahead and go to objects. I actually started out with this one. You can actually just do a copy paste on this one, and I'll show you what the differences are between those two. Now, for both of these, both on start and move, you're going to want to make sure that they're both not affected by gravity, or else it's just going to fall. You set up a field of vision. I put detect player. I put its radius at 8 to make it pretty small. And then, let's go ahead and do start. Start is nothing, just not affected by gravity. Link. Discovered other objects. specific object of, in this case, whip hero, detect player. So when it detects the player within the little circle that it shows, which it doesn't show it up in the game because it's invisible, but when it detects it in that little circle, then it goes to move. I'm doing an NES type effect where it basically just goes immediately to black, then it waits for 0.5 seconds, then it ends the scene, and then it goes from there. So now we're going to go to, and then that's it. Basically, what happens is when the player touches this object, which, or at least when it's discovered, when the player is discovered by this object's field of vision, it automatically takes them to the next scene. So this is where end scene comes in. So we go to transitions. Now, when I first started doing this, I had no idea how transitions worked. I had no idea how to actually transition to scenes. I had to look up one of the tutorials. I was still really confused. But I finally got it. I actually started working with portals, which are nice, but they're very basic. But they can also help you do some other stuff that you might want to do, like doing a scene transition where the scene literally shifts properly, or literally like what's the best way to put it? Like a Zelda 3 effect when you're moving from one part of the map to the next one, and then Link is just kind of sitting there at the end of that area, and then it shifts over, and then he's in the next area. That's basically what the effect can be, sliding with a Link sliding. That's pretty much the only extra thing that you can do, I think. But I mean, it's not really that great. At least not for what I'm looking to do. So okay, I'm gonna go back to screen flow. We're going from home to outside home, and the conditions. All I'm gonna do, change if any condition is met. We're gonna go to starting group point A, which is here. So this is where the character will appear at starting point A. So when he comes out of here, when he goes over here, touches the little area over here, he'll start here. Let's go to transitions. And then other condition settings, just previous scene ends. That's where end scene comes in. And you can put this on any scene and it'll work as long as the scene flow has it working that way. Previous scene ends. Sequence before changeover black, 0. Playback keep the same, or just change scene music based on the scene. You can just make it your own too if you want. You can change it to something different. Also, sequence after changeover black, 0. So this way it's just instant. So okay, but what if we're going backwards? We're gonna go right back in the door. How does that work? Okay, this right here is pretty much the exact same thing, including this and this. But here, oh look, there's a little variable here. I'll explain that here in a second. First, you're gonna go to starting point B. So when it changes over from this scene back to home, it'll start down here instead. Now, that's another thing. You saw a variable was changed here in the transition. Right here. Sequence after changeover. Change switch variable. Variable, whip hero, display direction equals 270. Normally, depending on the way your sprites are done, whatever's first, right or left, that's basically what it's going to be facing when you change over, essentially when you change over to the next scene. Mine faces right. I want it to face left. So here, you change display direction to 270, and the character will be facing left instead of right. One really easy thing to remember is that your directions will be clockwise. 0, is north or up. 90 is east or right. 180 is south or down. And 270 is west or left. There's no 360 because that's 0. That's that you go back to 0. It gets up to 359, then it goes down back to 0. The two directions you really want to look at are, especially if you're doing platformers, is 90, which is right, and 270, which is left. So I'm going to want to change it to turn left, so I basically made the display direction of the hero object 270. I'm probably not going to have more than one of those objects. I'm going to condense all of those hero objects into one, and then I won't have to worry about that. So, previous scene ends, and this is where the different one goes in, door end scene. It's the same thing as before, not affected by gravity, but here's where here's the differentiation. Discovered other objects, and change if all conditions are met. So discovered other objects, and you press up. Then it does the exact same thing as the first one. Applies the filter of darkening at 0, so it's instant. It waits 0.5 seconds. Then it ends the scene. Then when the scene ends, that's where the transition comes into play right here. Previous scene ends, changes to starting group B in the next scene over, or when you're going back. Black, 0, and it changes the display direction to left. And then he'll come back here and face left instead of right. Let's look at it one more time. Okay. Oh, and let me show you, I did fix a bit of the issues I was having yesterday with the stairs. Now if I do this, it's much better. And this was doing the animation frames. I'll show you what I did here in a minute. But anyway, so let's go back. Scene transitions just fine. If I go over here, I'm touching the object. The object is right here. Right here, around where the mouse is. But it's invisible. But if I press up, you can even hear the clicking. Nothing. But if I do it here at the door, there we go. I'll even turn on the field of vision color for both of these objects. This way you can see where they are. Let's go down. That's where it is. Now, the nice thing is with this field of vision circle, you can basically expand it further outwards. You can squeeze it. You can make it bigger, smaller, whatever. So let's go ahead and touch it again. See, you can see where the thing is. I'm touching it, but nothing's happening. If I'm just barely touching it and then press up, there we go. There we go. So let's say I wanted to make it a little smaller. Go to 4. And this one is for just the touching one. So I want to make it actually get to the end. Or to the edge of the screen. There you go. Perfect. No issues. And that's pretty much about it. Now, as for the whole animation thing, I went down here. I did drop. I went all the way to 8 frames. Did it on the last, on number 8, on frame number 8. Technically? No. Either way, oh, I'm sorry. I did it at frame 7, technically. And it seemed to work. My movement is 5 on the jump, 3 on the gravity. Basically, you're going to want to play with your gravity jump settings, your initial jump speed, and your gravity effect, along with the animation number, to get just the right one. It's still a little buggy. What do I mean by that? Here, let me show you. If I go down all the way here, just barely on the stairs, just barely. See? But right there, most players aren't going to notice. They're going to get up here and they're going to do this. Most players aren't going to do this. And even if they do. So, yeah. So, you should be good to go. Okay. That's pretty much all there is to it. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that it really helps you both with scene transitions and customizing scene transitions. Also, showing that the animation edition of jumping through slopes actually really does help quite a bit. And that it's probably the best way you can do it without them rewriting or without basically adding it into the engine themselves to make it much easier on the developer rather than not. But either way, I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you liked it, please leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. If you have any questions or you just want to leave a comment, please do so. You can find me on Twitter, which is in the description below. You can also find me in the unofficial Pixel Game Maker MV Discord. I'm there quite often, and I can also answer questions there. With that being said, I thank you very much for watching this video. Happy game making, and have a good evening.